Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, Florida, home to nearly 1 million people. A city built on strong military roots and an industrious spirit. In the early 1900s, it was the birthplace of film in America, earning the nickname the First Hollywood. Every fall, the city comes alive for the annual Florida-Georgia game. That passion turned into a dream of hosting our own NFL franchise.
Membership has selected Jacksonville as the 30th NFL club.
Duval! Most cities got one hood, not in Jacksonville.
But behind the riverfront and the roaring stadium lies a darker side. With some of the deadliest neighborhoods in the nation and a crime rate higher than most U.S. cities, Jacksonville's shadows are as compelling as its sunshine.
Multiple gunshots, multiple shooters. If someone in the trailer was definitely the target. However, I don't feel that someone was Jazmine or Megan. We have reason to believe that the shooting into the trailer was a retaliation from the stabbing itself.
Welcome back to Deadly Duval, the podcast where we uncover the dark, untold stories of Jacksonville's past. I'm your host, Jackson Brewer, and I want to thank you for joining me again. On tonight's episode, we examine the tragic case of Megan Simmons and Jazmine Shelton, two young girls whose lives were tragically cut short in a targeted shooting at a mobile home in Northwest Jacksonville. It's been over a decade since that fateful August night in 2013, but their case remains unsolved. Megan and Jazmine were not the intended targets, yet they bore the full weight of someone else's vendetta. What led to this horrific crime, and why has justice for these girls been so hard to achieve? Tonight, we'll take a closer look at the details of this haunting case, including insights from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in a segment called Cold Case Spotlight, where Detective Travis Oliver shares the publicly available details of the investigation. Let's start with the facts. On August 14, 2013, Megan Simmons, 14, was spending the night at her best friend Jazmine Shelton's house on Missouri Avenue in Northwest Jacksonville. The girls had plans to visit the beach the next day, a simple joy of summer, but that night, their plans were forever stolen.
He was spending the night over at Jazmine's house, and they were supposed to be going to the beach the next day, and that never happened.
Around midnight, the mobile home where they were staying was sprayed with bullets.
Multiple shooters.
In what investigators believe was a targeted retaliation stemming from an earlier violent altercation.
Attention, and she's attempting to answer the door when she's shot, and you see the rounds coming through the door to hit her. If someone in the trailer was definitely the target. However, I don't feel that someone was Jazmine or Megan. A known person that was known to the occupants of the trailer had been stabbed and was in a local hospital being treated for his injuries. We have reason to believe that one of the occupants of the trailer returned back to the trailer after the stabbing occurred, and that the shooting into the trailer was a retaliation from the stabbing itself.
Jazmine died at the scene. Megan fought for her life for 4 days, but tragically passed away from her injuries. This senseless act of violence left an indelible scar on the families and the community. Their case remains unsolved, and their families continue to search for answers. To shed more light on this case, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office produced a Cold Case Spotlight segment featuring Detective Travis Oliver, who has been instrumental in keeping this case alive. In this segment, Detective Oliver shares details about the shooting, its connection to a prior violent altercation, and the challenges investigators have faced in solving this case.
Because she's the first thing when I wake up or when I go to bed, I'm talking to her. I talk to her a lot. Megan was a loving, good person. She loved to sing, and she loved people. Even people she just met. I mean, she liked to be with people.
This incident occurred on August 10, 2013, at approximately 04:30 in the morning in the 5200 block of Missouri Avenue. One victim was Jazmine Shelton. She was 13 years old. The second victim was Megan Simmons, who was 14 years old at the time. Both victims died from multiple gunshot wounds. Jazmine was deceased at the scene when homicide detectives arrived at the scene. Megan was transported to a local hospital. Her condition was life-threatening from the time she was transported. She was just able to survive for additional 4 days.
I got a phone call saying Megan had been shot. I just threw the phone, hollered, told Kylie to get up, let's go, and we went straight to the hospital. I knew not to go over there. At the time, I was a wreck, but we went to the hospital and got to see her.
The incident happened at Jazmine's home. Jazmine lived there with her mom's boyfriend, and at the time, her mom's boyfriend's sister-in-law was staying with them. Jazmine was found right in the doorway of the residence. Megan was on the sofa. The shots were fired from outside the trailer, and the area that they was penetrating through the trailer walls was hitting the victims because both of the victims were in the living room. The weapons we used were multiple caliber, possibly handguns. The neighbors was calling about the shots in the area, as well as Jazmine's mother was calling, and as a fact, Jazmine's mother flagged down the police as they were arriving to the scene, responding to the gunshot calls. I think that the kids were, of course, not the target, and that the target was someone else in the house. The investigation revealed that there had been a violent altercation between occupants of the residence and a known male in the area. And within hours after that incident, the house was shot at. The occupant that was involved in the violent incident is instrumental in assisting in solving this case. After all of this had happened, that person has been less than cooperative with the detectives, even to today. The suspects would probably be someone that was probably a drug dealer. To be totally honest, when we get to the meat and the potatoes of this investigation, it's all going to be drug related. We're looking at what do we have available today that we did not have available in 2013, and how can we now go back and resubmit evidence, look at things from a different angle 11 years later and see if we can get different results. I think solving this case will bring justice to the family. I don't know if they'll ever have closure because so much was taken away from them when children this young, life was ended so soon.
It's just hard when you lose a child. This child didn't have a chance. I just pray that this is the end of the road and she gets justice, because it's hard. Like birthdays and Christmas, holidays, it's really hard. Everything happens for a reason. I just feel like this is going to be solved this time. They're going to get answers.
That was Detective Travis Oliver with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. His dedication to uncovering the truth is evident, but it's clear that community cooperation is essential to solving this case. Megan Simmons and Jazmine Shelton had their whole lives ahead of them. Megan dreamed of becoming a veterinarian and auditioning for American Idol. Jazmine loved her family and her friends. Both girls were bright, loving, and full of potential. As their loved ones continue to grieve, we're left to wonder, who holds the key to unlocking the truth about what happened that night? Could a small detail, something seemingly insignificant, finally bring justice to Megan and Jazmine? If you have any information about this case, no matter how small or unimportant it might seem, please contact the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Your tip could help solve the case and bring closure to these families. And before you go, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Your support helps us grow and shine light on stories like this.
Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, this is Deadly Duval. Stay safe and stay vigilant.